Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet with me, Paul Alster. I'm back with you here for a look ahead to day two of Royal Ascot. We saw some terrific racing at Royal Ascot on day one, none more so than the St James's Palace Stake victory of Rosa Lyon. And our suggestion in that race really ran very well, just not quite able to hang on for third place, unquestionable. He just faded in the last few strides to be nipped out of third, and it would have been nice, a very nice place bet had he held on. Eventually finished fourth, running far better than most people had anticipated. I certainly was confident he'd run well. Nusrat, on the other hand, although there was loads and loads of money for him, he was a big gamble everywhere. He never managed to land a blow in the Ascot Stakes, so he possibly just didn't quite stay the 2.5 miles. But I would like to see him go for something like the Seeyouatmidnight later in the season. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, just finding as big prices are what I'm about and looking for wins, and even places count very well indeed when you're backing them at big, often double figure odds. So if you're new to this channel, please press the subscribe button. And that is just below the screen, and also below the screen is a description box where you can find a link to sign up for my Out in Front service, where all through Royal Ascot I'm offering at least 4 tips a day. And of course I also have all my weekend selections going on every week, as well as the big festival meetings, and of course when I fancy one through the week as well. So do check that out to sign up. It's showing a very nice profit, that service. And I'm going to take you on to the first of my 2 selections, and I've gone for some pretty big price runners for day 2. And the first race that I'm going to take you to look at on Wednesday is one of the hardest races of the season to figure out. It's the Royal Hunt Cup, and this is a handicap over the straight mile at Ascot. Good to firm, good in places, 30 runners. And for those of you that follow racing regularly, this is a race that should need no introduction. It's a cavalry charge down that straight mile. Very often, factors such as the draw and luck in running play their part. I'm not so sure that the draw is going to be a big issue, because on day 1 of Royal Ascot, they've been coming from all parts of the track and running well, as we saw in the Coventry, where there was very nearly a dead heat between runners on either side of the course. So I'm not so sure the draw is so important, although if you had to twist my arm, I'd possibly want to be centre to high. Anyway, last year this race was won by Sonny Liston for Rafe Beckett. He'll need a bit of luck in running, I suppose. This year, if he's going to follow up off a whopping £11 higher mark, he's going to have to have improved a lot. But he did win again on his seasonal reappearance, and is clearly in great heart. So I think he'll go well with Sonny Liston. And I'm not sure if there have been many horses, if at all, that have won the Hunt Cup twice. They are betting 8-1 the field, by the way, with Wild Tiger, the Godolphin horse, the favourite overnight, or certainly in the evening. Now, others I can see making a bit of a splash here are the likes of Metal Merchant, Holloway Boy and Ropey Guest, all of whom I think can run well in what is a very, very hot race. Now, you can make a case for so many of these runners, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is point out to you that I've narrowed it down to 2 long shots, one of which I've recommended over at Out in Front. And believe me, it took a long time until I was able to choose which one goes where. There's very little between the pair. The other one, which is actually a bigger price, here at Sportsbet is my choice. And this is a horse called Sean, trained by Jamie Osborne, and to be the mount of his daughter, Safi Osborne, who's developing into a very, very good professional jockey. Now, Sean's an interesting horse because it was originally brought up and raced in Germany, where it did okay, and then it went to Italy and improved, winning 6 times in all, including at Group 3 level. And then it joined Jamie Osborne's yard in January, where he took it straight out to Meydan in Dubai. It ran 4 times, and that included a short head defeat in a Group 3 there, and then in a fine 3rd place in the Group 2 Singspiel Stakes at Meydan during the winter. Now, in the context of this race, I would argue that that form reads pretty well. But coming back to Britain, it had an 11-week break after Meydan, and a lot of horses don't always run well when they've returned from the heat of the winter sun in the desert to what has been a very chilly spring in Britain. But this one did run well, Sean. It was fourth to the rejuvenated Royal Scotsman in the Diamond Stakes Group 3 at Epsom earlier this month. And to me, it just looked as if it probably just needed the outing. And also, I didn't think it was particularly at home on the track. Now, it's drawn in the midfield here in stall 16. So Safi Osborne and her dad will be able to plan, are they going to go straight? Are they going to try and cut across to go to the far side? Or I think they'll probably try and edge toward the near side group. Wherever it goes, it is a 40-1 shot, not 14, 40-1, Sean. And the best place terms at 40-1 are offered by Paddy Power, offering 7 places each way in the Hunt Cup for Sean. And that is my first choice for you on Wednesday at Royal Ascot. And then to my second race, also a very, very tough race indeed. Another handicap. The Kensington Palace Fillies handicap is at Royal Ascot on Wednesday at 5:40. This time there are 25 runners. They're betting around 6-1 the field. That's Summer of Love again for Godolphin. And then they're betting 10-1 bar 1. And that tells you all you need to know. And as I mentioned, there's no obvious draw bias, so the winner could come from any part of the track. Now, among those who I was considering in this race are Mystic Pearl, Twirling, and Hopeful. I considered all of those, but in the end, I've come down on the side of a filly that I believe has been laid out for this race since last season. And that filly is Adelace, who is trained by the superb Joseph O'Brien and is the mount of the equally superb William Buick. Adelace is now a 5-year-old mare. She tackled this very race 12 months ago as a 4-year-old, and despite not getting the best of runs, she stayed on well in the closing stages, and she finished a brave 4th to Villanova Queen. Since then, this daughter of Lorman has improved 12 pounds on official figures, mainly due to 2 solid runs in listed company in France towards the end of last season, and that makes her among the top weights here. But top weight is easier to carry. Big weights are easier to carry on a decent surface than they are slogging through the mud, of course. Now, on a seasonal reappearance, Joseph's mare travelled back over to Britain, to Kempton in April, where despite running a bit too keen in the early stages, she surprisingly still found enough in reserve to hold choice here and win the listed Snowdrop Fillies Stakes, and the form of that is working out quite nicely. She's had a 10-week break since then. She goes well fresh, she handles the ground, and William Buick, who rode her to victory at Kempton, and that was his first ride on this filly, obviously was pleased with what he found there. He's taking the ride again. Now, Adelaide is a 16-1 shot with a number of firms here, but the best place odds I can see at the time of recording, I'm just scanning through to see if anybody had been brave enough to go up. No, it was 5 places is what no 6. It is 6, yeah. 6 places for Adelaide at 16-1 with Betfred. So that's Adelaide 16-1 for 6 places with Betfred in the 5:40 at Royal Ascot, and Sean 40-1 for 7 places each way with Paddy Power in the Royal Hunt Cup at 5:05. Remember, if you want my other tips for Wednesday, and there are some of them at very tasty prices, you can click the link on the description box and sign up at Out in Front. You're more than welcome to do so. There's no tie-in period as well. It's month to month. But whether you do or don't, I'll look forward to joining you again same time tomorrow with my thoughts on day 3, which is going to be Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot on Thursday. Best of luck on Wednesday. Bye-bye for now.